How Citizen Kane, 1941, was made Citizen Kane, directed by Orson Welles, is a landmark film known for its innovative storytelling and technical achievements. Here's a breakdown of its production, actors, filming locations, and budget. The film was inspired by the life of newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst, though Welles denied it was a direct biography. The screenplay was co-written by Welles and Herman J. Mankiewicz, with debates persisting over who contributed more. Modern consensus credits Mankiewicz with the initial draft, refined by Welles. At just 25, Welles was given unprecedented creative control by RKO Pictures as part of a deal following his success with the Mercury Theater and the infamous War of the Worlds radio broadcast. He served as director, co-writer, producer, and star. The film pioneered deep-focus cinematography, thanks to cinematographer Greg Toland, low-angle shots, and a non-linear narrative structure. It used flashbacks and multiple perspectives to unravel the mystery of Charles Foster Kane's life. Hearst's opposition was fierce. He tried to suppress the film by pressuring theaters and studios. Despite this, RKO released it, though its initial box office performance suffered. Orson Welles, Charles Foster Kane. Welles, a theatrical prodigy, brought intensity and charisma to Kane. He aged himself with makeup across decades, showcasing his versatility. At the time, he was relatively new to film, but a major radio and stage figure. Joseph Cotten, Jedediah Leland. A Mercury Theater veteran and Welles's close friend, Cotten played Kane's loyal but disillusioned friend. His understated performance balanced Welles's larger-than-life presence. Dorothy Cummingore, Susan Alexander Kane. Cummingore portrayed Kane's second wife, a singer pushed beyond her talents. She was a rising star, though her career later stalled due to Hollywood blacklist suspicions. Everett Sloane, Mr. Bernstein. Another Mercury Theater alum, Sloane played Kane's devoted business manager with warmth and nuance. Supporting cast. Many actors like Ray Collins, Jim Geddes, and Agnes Moorehead, Kane's mother, came from Welles's theater troupe, lending the film a cohesive ensemble feel. Most of Citizen Kane was shot at RKO Studios in Hollywood, California, specifically RKO's 5515 Melrose Avenue lot. Sound stages were used to create Kane's opulent Xanadu mansion and other settings. The fictional Xanadu drew from Hearst Castle in San Simeon, California, though no filming occurred there. Exterior shots of Xanadu used matte paintings and footage from Oheka Castle in Long Island, New York, blended with studio sets. Some exterior scenes were filmed around Los Angeles, and stock footage was used for newsreel sequences to give the film a documentary-like scope. RKO allocated approximately $500,000 to $600,000 for the film, a generous sum for a first-time director, reflecting Welles's carte blanche deal. Production costs ballooned to around $839,727. Estimates vary slightly. This overrun was due to elaborate sets, e.g., Xanadu's grand interiors, special effects, like the snow globe and aging makeup, and Welles's perfectionism, such as reshooting scenes to refine his vision. The film grossed about $1.5 million initially, failing to recoup its costs due to Hearst's interference and limited distribution. Its reputation grew over time, however, making it a cultural rather than financial triumph. Despite its rocky start, Citizen Kane redefined cinema with its bold narrative and technical prowess. It earned 9 Academy Award nominations, winning Best Original Screenplay. Adjusted for inflation, its $839,727 budget equates to roughly $18 to $20 million today, a modest sum for such an enduring classic. Citizen Kane and William Randolph Hearst's vendetta against the film. These aspects highlight the movie's brilliance and the drama surrounding its release. Orson Welles, alongside cinematographer Greg Toland, pushed the boundaries of 1940s filmmaking. Here are some standout techniques. Every element in the frame, foreground, midground, and background, is in sharp focus simultaneously, unlike the typical shallow focus of the era. Toland used fast lenses with wide apertures and powerful lighting, combined with smaller film apertures to increase depth of field. This required precise staging and intense illumination. In the scene where Kane's mother signs his guardianship away, young Charles plays outside in the snow, background, while his parents and Thatcher negotiate inside, foreground. All are crystal clear, letting viewers choose what to focus on. A storytelling revolution. Low-angle shots, what it is. The camera shoots upward, making characters appear towering and powerful. How it was done. Welles and Toland dug trenches into the studio floor, or built sets with removable ceilings to position the camera low. This was rare, because most sets had fixed ceilings for lighting rigs. Example: Kane looms over others in his campaign speech, emphasizing his dominance, though the angle also subtly hints at his eventual downfall. Creative transitions, what it is. Seamless shifts between scenes that blend time and space. How it was done. Toland used dissolves, wipes, and in-camera effects. For instance, a dissolve from a photograph to a live scene, like the transition into the newsreel, was achieved by matching lighting and composition perfectly. Example: the breakfast montage showing Kane's marriage deteriorating uses quick cuts and shifting table settings to compress years into minutes. Lighting and shadows. What it is? Dramatic chiaroscuro, high-contrast light and shadow, inspired by German Expressionism. How it was done. Toland employed single-source lighting and painted shadows onto sets to control mood. Makeup and matte paintings enhance the effect. Example: Kane's silhouette in Xanadu's cavernous halls underscores his isolation, with stark light cutting through darkness. Innovative camera movement, what it is. Fluid, dynamic shots that broke from static framing. How it was done. Cranes, dollies, and even handheld techniques, uncommon then, tracked action. Welles rehearsed extensively with actors to sync their movements. Example: the opera house scene cranes upward from Susan's stage performance to two stagehands grimacing. A subtle critique unfolding in one take. These tricks weren't just flashy. They served the story, revealing Kane's complexity through visual language. Toland was so proud he insisted on a co-credit with Welles, a rarity for cinematographers. William Randolph Hearst's Vendetta Hearst, a powerful media tycoon, saw Citizen Kane as a personal attack and waged a war to bury it. Here's how it unfolded. Why he was offended. Parallels to his life. Charles Foster. Kane mirrored Hearst. Both were newspaper barons with political ambitions, lavish estates, Xanadu versus Hearst Castle, and controversial personal lives. Susan Alexander's failed opera career echoed Hearst's mistress Marion Davies, though Davies was actually talented. The Rosebud Connection. Some speculate Rosebud, Kane's childhood sled, alluded to a private nickname Hearst had for Davies, though this remains unconfirmed gossip from Mankiewicz's circle. His counterattack, press blackout. Hearst banned mention of the film in his vast newspaper empire, which included dozens of papers like the New York Journal. No ads, reviews, or news. Total silence. Pressure on Hollywood. He threatened to expose studio scandals, like Star's private lives, if RKO didn't shelve the film. Theater chains, fearing his wrath, refused to book it. Smear campaign. Hearst's papers attacked Welles personally, calling him a communist or unpatriotic, ironic given Kane's jingoism. Gossip columnist Luella Parsons, a Hearst loyalist, led the charge. Impact on release. Limited distribution. Major chains like Loew's and Fox wouldn't touch it, so Citizen Kane opened in smaller, independent theaters on May 1, 1941. Its reach was crippled. Financial hit. With a budget of $839,727, it grossed just $1.5 million initially. Profitable, but far below potential. Hearst's sabotage delayed its cultural ascent. RKO's response. Studio head George Schaefer stood by Welles, but RKO nearly destroyed the negatives under pressure. Welles's career took a hit. He struggled to get similar freedom again. Aftermath. Hearst couldn't kill the film entirely. Critics raved. It won an Oscar for screenplay, and its reputation grew via re-releases and TV broadcasts after Hearst's death in 1951. Welles later quipped, "I'd rather have lost money on Citizen Kane than made it on something safe." Hearst's vendetta ironically cemented the film's legend. Both the cinematography and Hearst's reaction showcase Citizen Kane's daring spirit. One technically, the other culturally. Want to explore one of these further, like how deep focus was rigged or Hearst's specific threats?